So much to talk about. So little time. Time is an illusion anyway, it doesn't exist. Welcome. This is 2020 Fix, and I am Fix. The reason for this YouTube channel is for me to rant, yes, but also for me to reflect. Hindsight 2020. That's what they say, right? Because 2020, perfect vision. But also, it's 2026, and I decided this is my year. So, yeah. Hello, 2020 Fix. So, I heard this hilarious term this week. It's funny and it also pisses me off. Try hard. Like, but not like as a verb, as in trying hard. Like it's almost like a adjective. Like you don't want to be seen as a try hard. Like I don't want to be a try hard. Oh, she's such a try hard. Oh, he's such a try hard. Yeah, like why is that a bad thing? I think when we were kids, at least when I was a kid, there was this like um reverence for the kids that seemed to get good grades without trying hard, for the girl who had the nice body without trying hard. Like for a time there used to be like respect when someone said, "Yeah, I was kind of just like born like this. I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to try hard." You know what? I don't think all the good things in our lives happen when we try hard. And also, you person who are calling others a try hard, you don't know if it's really hard. It might be your perception because you're lazy and you haven't tried anything in your damn life. So when someone goes out there and pursues their dreams, you perceive them as a try hard because you ain't never tried nothing. You ain't never done nothing. So I'm just gonna leave it there. That is not even what today's episode is about. But that term just came to me, and honestly, it does make me laugh. And yeah, I think I'm a bit of a try hard. But honestly, all the things that I go out and do voluntarily, which is pretty much everything I do, there's no one who tells me what to do. There's no one who arranges my schedule for me. There's no one who says, "Hey, Fix, get up and film content. Hey, Fix, you need to post now. Hey, Fix, you need to go to the gym." I'm very much a self-run, self-led woman. So yeah, it might look like I'm trying hard, but I'm actually not. I'm coasting. I'm chilling, baby. Anyway, so what I really wanted to get into today was choosing yourself, being the kind of person that chooses yourself. There's this affirmation that I borrowed from Eric. I'll put his YouTube channel here. And he's like a manifestation coach. He does a lot of content on YouTube. He's very like tongue in cheek, sort of glib. And he just tells it like it is. And every time he starts his show, he says, "Hi, I am Fikile. I am all that is. I am love. I am perfection. I'm always chosen. I'm everyone's top priority. No one is better than me. No one comes close to me," or something like that. There was a time where I used to have to say that to myself every day. You know why? Because I realized that I was waiting to be chosen. And you sometimes you wake up to the programs that are running in the background of your life, again, in very mundane circumstances. It's probably sitting on the toilet or something. TMI, sorry. But you wake up to these truths in very mundane moments. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, I think I'm waiting to be chosen. No, man, I need to start choosing myself. And it was interesting because, I'm in this acting world and we are in this context where we are led to believe that we don't choose ourselves. I just had someone peering over my fence. That we don't choose ourselves, that we have to like wait to be chosen by other people. And I mean, nothing seems more black and white than the acting world, right? You go out there, you audition, and you hope to be chosen by the casting director or network executive or producer or director. It seems very linear and black and white in that sense. But, I was asked on the Best of Me podcast a couple of weeks ago, how do you reconcile your healing from your disease to please and being chosen and wanting to impress network executives or people who make decisions about your acting career. And I told Sam, shout out to you, Sam. I told him, like, throughout the entire premise, that you need them to begin with, because they're actually not choosing you. You choose you. There can be circumstances where you are perfect for the job. You're the best actress for that role. You look the part. You're that age. You can speak in the accent, and they still won't choose you. And it can be for whatever reason, whether you're too tall, or maybe you're too short, or you're too English, or you're too American, or someone that, who cares? Who cares? The bottom line is that none of that is in your control. Absolutely none of that. And sometimes the people that you think it is in the control of, it's not in their control either. I have friends who are casting directors. Am I looking at them thinking, yeah, because we're friends, like, you need to give me? No. Sometimes it's not in their control. Sometimes you don't fit into the cast, or you stand out too much, or you don't stand out enough. You could make so many excuses for why you didn't get the role and why you weren't chosen, and you can take that so much personally. But I'm telling you right now, if you come from a state of being where you are already chosen, that stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you realize none of it is about you. I happen to now believe that all the luck, all the opportunity, all the being seen, all the platforming that I have had in the recent and past while, I've created that. I created that from within. And I remember when I started, saying that affirmation, I am Fikile, I'm always chosen, no one is better than me, no one come close to me. It was from, yes, that realization that I had been waiting, but it was also taking my power back. I almost didn't have a choice but to choose myself. And choosing myself led to the creation of things for myself. So I spoke about this in last week's show, that when you start creating, when you start putting your work out there, when you start expressing your intrinsic value, whether it is as a speaker or as a writer or as a healer, whatever it is that God put inside of you, even as an actor, as you start to express that, you're creating value, and people will notice. People do notice, and opportunities do come your way. But that can't happen if you don't choose yourself first. And this is in relationships as well, by the way. I heard someone say, some of the loneliest people I know are married with kids. And a lot of us women, we abandon ourselves in that setting of making a family. And at some point, you stop choosing yourself. And I know if you're a firstborn daughter like I am, choosing yourself sounds selfish, but that may not be an entirely bad thing. I'll tell you what happens when you are unselfish, okay? What happens is that people get used to you giving of yourself in a certain way, giving you very, very little in return. People get used to treating you a kind of way. But what you have done unconsciously is said, I am going to be unselfish with the expectation that someone else is going to plow into me, sow into me, invest back into me in the level or commensurate to the level that I sowed into them. And that almost never happens. And that expectation that you have of other people does make you selfish anyway. So you might as well just lead with you as man number one. You might as well lead with you being selfish and pouring into yourself, plowing into yourself, investing into yourself first, so that you don't have these stupid expectations of everyone else to fill your cup, because your cup runneth over. And when your cup runneth over, you can then give out of the surplus. You're not depleted. You're not resentful. You know how resentful I was? Just, I'm actually, there's a clip, I'm gonna play it. Take a listen.
There's just so much. There's just so much. I'm just in a very, very angry space. I might be depressed. Am I? But what happens if you're already crazy? You just get crazier, I suppose, yeah.
Mind you, at that time, I was like on the cusp of my big break, right? Like you don't know, but I was creating, right? So I had my little YouTube channel. Yeah, I was angry. I was angry that I wasn't getting cast. I was angry that nobody was choosing me. But there's something that that version of me knew at the time, and it was put yourself out there, create. I would get Isidingo maybe like less than 6 months after that video was published. And Isidingo, for those of you who don't know, was an SABC3 soap opera. That's how I started. I got my start on a national TV soap. And I stopped it. I mean, I talked about it in the first episode. Like, I stopped that YouTube channel, but I think that act of creativity, something happens when you do that. But again, you have to choose yourself first. For me to sit down and to record those blogs and to rant about how angry I was, I had to choose me and what I had to say. And apparently, I had a lot to say, okay? Still on the point of relationships and choosing yourself in the context of a relationship. I'm not in a relationship right now. And so I feel like maybe it might be a little bit easier for me to choose myself. But I mean, even if you are in a relationship and you have gotten people used to you abandoning yourself for their comfort, for their convenience, I still think it is possible to choose yourself within a relationship, or to start choosing yourself within a relationship. A lot of people feel stuck, like, oh, this is the dynamic I have with my significant other. And when I start to choose myself, they start to complain because I'm pulling my energy away. And yeah, the truth is, you're going to have to get comfortable with that discomfort. So, what happens when we start to choose ourselves in the context of our relationships, even if it's not romantic? It could be that you are the savior of the family and you're starting to pull back your energy, to pull back your resources, even. People might look at you and be like, she changed, you know, and you have to be okay with that. Look, life is uncomfortable. Well, let me not say it's uncomfortable. Life is full of duality. There's up, and for every up, there's down. If an up didn't exist, you wouldn't know what down was. There is left, and so there is right. If the right didn't exist, you wouldn't have a reference point for what was left. Do you see what I'm saying? In the relationship context, when you start to choose yourself, you're choosing yourself because you were uncomfortable. You were uncomfortable because you were giving so much of yourself away that you lost yourself. And now you decided, okay, I'm going to choose myself. It came from a place of discomfort. When you get to the other side and you start to choose yourself and you start to invest in yourself and spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself, discomfort is going to happen because the people around you are going to be uncomfortable. And if you are raised to be a pleaser like I was, that's going to make you uncomfortable because you're going to feel like a bad person. Either way, you're going to feel uncomfortable. Do you want the uncomfortable that's going to result in you getting resentful, holding grudges, being upset about expectations of return of favors that weren't met? Or would you rather have the discomfort of other people liking you a little bit less? Because honestly, like when you start choosing yourself and you feel that guilt that comes with other people being surprised at how you've changed, the fact that you feel like a bad person means that you're probably a really, really good person. There's some people that don't give a shit. There's some people who take, and don't give a shit. They take from other people, let alone like just pulling your energy back to yourself, which belongs to you. That's like one thing. That is, honestly, that is hardly selfish. It might be perceived as such, but that is hardly selfish. There's some people who will keep their energy and take from other people and not feel bad at all. So the fact that like you even feel a little bit of guilt for focusing on yourself probably means that you're a really good, loving person to begin with. So give yourself a break. Choose you. How have I been choosing myself lately? Look, I think, yes, I am a firstborn daughter, but I also feel like somehow I didn't get laden with all the responsibility of being a firstborn daughter. I was lucky in that sense. I'm lucky that my parents don't need my help financially. So I've never really had to go and support, um, share my paycheck, for example. My mom is good. She's done very well for herself. My brother is also good. He's done very well for himself. I I'll tell you where I have pulled my energy back to some extent. You know, growing up, it was very common for my relatives to come to our family and ask for money. And we weren't loaded by any means, but because my parents were the most educated in their families, they were the ones who had more access. And yes, they had more money than everyone else. And so I grew up seeing that English. I grew up seeing a dynamic where my parents would ask for money, and when they could, they would give it, begrudgingly sometimes, especially if it came from my dad. And it certainly came with strings attached, okay? And I think a lot of people go through this. A lot of people in my generation have gone through this, and they're they're depleted. I think they call it black tax, and it's a tax that we might experience monetarily. It might be a time thing, whatever it is. I know a lot of you guys are going through that right now. And there was a time I think I was heading down that road of, yeah, you ask, I give, you ask, I give, you ask, I give. And then there was a point where I was just like, you know what? We're all children in a way. Like I would see a cousin would ask for money, and I would think about how we all grew up. Some of us might have had better educations than others, but then also on the other side, you might have had more love because you were a boy child or whatever. I feel like we all have privileges that we sometimes don't count as privileges. But for me, I feel like we all grew up equal. And so when I say we're all children, I'm really like just saying like, hey, we're all grinding this shit out, okay? And I just remember one time I was just like, no, actually, I don't want to give you money. And I remember feeling bad, but I didn't want to, especially because I didn't know where it was going. But now I've just come to a stage where I do want to still, but I'm also like, I'm just not in a position to do that right now. If there is anything that is extra, trust I'm investing it in myself. I'm investing it in my education. I'm investing it into my apartment. I'm investing it into my health. I'm investing it into my whatever, my businesses. I have had to be selfish. And I don't know if you picked this up, but my energy changed right there. My energy talking about being asked for money, realizing that no, I actually didn't want to give it. And even though it was a relative, I tensed up. My throat started to close shut. My chest started to feel heavy. That's very real. That's guilt pulsing through you. That's generations of self abandonment calling you back to say you're a bad person for investing in yourself first, especially as a woman. Especially as a woman. So, we're going through this together. I am sacrificing so much immediate gratification, because there is immediate gratification if I give relatives money because I'm liked, I'm the savior. But long term, then no, no, I've got a bigger thing going here. Okay, I'm building an empire. And so I have to be selfish. I have to be. I have to think long term. I have to think of my future kids that don't exist. I'm doing this for them. And yes, I'm doing this for my family as well. But I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me. Because every day I have to go to sleep and wake up and look at myself in the mirror. Am I the person who I say I am? And yes, I decide to be. I decide to be because I choose me. You know why? Because no one else is fucking gonna. No one's gonna choose you. Even if they give you the role or they give you the ring, they're not really choosing you in that moment. They're choosing you to work for them. They're choosing you because you work for them. They're choosing you because you are the right option for them. So you see how everyone is still covertly selfish anyway? Just accept it. Just accept it. Demand. Choose yourself. This. That bike is saying, wrap it up, Fix. Wrap it up. It's a Sunday. We want to go have dinner. I hope this helps. This has been 2020 Fix.